My name is Morten Bonde, and I'm the author of the book Sentenced to Blindness, Now What? A journey from Hopelessness Street to Possibility Road. In this book, I describe how meditation, for me, became a state that helped me change my thoughts and perspective on losing my sight. And it helped me to start seeing possibilities rather than limitations in life. Many have asked me how to meditate and how to get started. Let me make it very, very simple here. Meditation moved the veil of smoke that stunned my senses from realizing that life is a gift and that we have the ability to create our desired reality in our thoughts. We first create an idea, a thought from the mind. And then we give this thought energy through an emotion, either love or fear. This emotion and the thought fueled with love or fear becomes a belief in the heart. This belief will manifest itself as something that enriches you or weighs you down. You can train yourself to feed your ideas with love rather than fear by creating an empty space between the idea and the emotion, where you can make a conscious decision with your full presence. Love over fear. Meditation helps you to be able to create that empty space within you. This following description originally comes from Alan Watts, who was a British writer and speaker known for interpreting and popularizing Buddhism, Taoism, and Hinduism for Western audience. The easiest way to get into the meditative state is to begin by listening. If you simply close your eyes and allow yourself to hear all the sounds that are going on around you, just listen to the general hum and buzz of the world as if you were listening to music. Don't try to identify the sounds you are hearing. Don't put names and labels on them. Simply allow them to play with your eardrums and let them go. Don't judge the sounds. There are no proper sounds or improper sounds. It's all just sound. And try to listen to the sound of my voice just as it was noise. Don't try to make any sense out of what I'm saying, because your brain will take care of that automatically. You don't have to try to understand anything. Just listen to the sound. As you pursue that experiment, you will very naturally find that you can't help naming sounds to identify them. You can't stop thinking. That is to say, talking to yourself inside your head. But it's important that you don't try to repress those thoughts by forcing them out of your mind, because that will have the precise same effect as you were trying to smooth water with your hands. You're just going to disturb it all the more. What you do is this: as you hear sounds coming up in your head, thoughts, you simply listen to them as part of the general noise going on. Just as you would be listening to the sound of my voice, or just as you would be listening to cars going by, or to birds chattering outside the window. So look at your own thoughts as just noises. And soon you will find that the so-called outside world and the so-called inside world come together. They are happening. Your thoughts are happening, just like the sounds going on outside, and everything is simply a happening, and all you're doing is watching it. Now, in this process, another thing that is happening that is very important is that you're breathing. And as you start meditation, you allow your breath to run just as it wills. In other words, don't do at first any breathing exercise, but just watch your breath breathing the way it wants to breathe. And then notice a curious thing about this. You say in the ordinary way, I breathe, because you feel that breathing is something that you are doing voluntarily, just in the same way as you might be walking or talking. But you will also notice that when you are not thinking about breathing, your breathing goes on just the same. So the curious thing about breath is that it can be looked at both as a voluntary and an involuntary action. You can feel, on the one hand, I am doing it, and on the other hand, it is happening to me. And that is why breathing is a most important part of meditation, because it is going to show you, as you become aware of your breath, that the hard and fast division that we make between what we do on the one hand and what happens to us on the other is arbitrary. So as you watch your breathing, you will become aware that both the voluntary and the involuntary aspects of your experience are all one happening. Now that may at first seem a little scary, because you may think, well, am I just a puppet of a happening, the mere passive witness of something that's going on completely beyond my control? Or, on the other hand, am I really doing everything that's going on? The truth of the matter, as we will see it, is that both things are true. You can see it, that everything is happening to you, and on the other hand, you are doing everything. For example, it's your eyes that are turning the sun into light. It's the nerve ends in your skin that are turning electric vibrations in the air into heat and temperature. It's your eardrums that are turning vibrations in the air into sound, and in that way you are creating the world. But when we are not talking about it, when we are not philosophizing about it, then there is just this happening, this sound. And we won't give it a name. Now then, when you breathe for a while, just letting it happen, not forcing it in any way, you will discover a curious thing, that without making any effort, you can breathe more and more deeply. In other words, supposing you're simply a breathing out, and breathing out is important because it's the breath of relaxation. As when we say and heave a sigh of relief. So when you are breathing out, you get the sensation that your breath is falling out, dropping, dropping, dropping out, with the same sort of feeling you have as if you were settling down into your extremely comfortable chair, and you just get as heavy as possible and let yourself go. And you let your breath go out in just the same way. And when it's comfortably out, and it feels like coming back again, you don't pull it back. You let it fall back in, letting your lungs expand, 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 until they feel very comfortably full. And you wait a moment and let it stay there, and then once again you let it fall out. And so, in this way, you will discover that your breath gets quite naturally easier and easier, and slower and slower, and more powerful. So that with these various aids, listening to sound, listening to your own interior feelings and thoughts, just as if they were something going on, not something you are doing, but just happenings, and watching your breath as a happening that is neither voluntary nor involuntary. You are simply aware of these basic sensations. Then you begin to be in the state of meditation. But don't hurry anything. Don't worry about the future. Don't worry about what progress you're making. Just be entirely content to be aware of what is. Don't be selective. Don't say, I should think this or I should think that. Just watch whatever is happening.